Hey y'all, this is Drake Rodger, aka John Winchester from the Winchesters. Tune into the Boys podcast and check us out.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No. It's totally my fault. Artist?
Girl's gotta have her hobbies. Got you good, didn't I?
I can take a hit.
Read this, word for word.
Okay. Are you
Come
sure?
on, man, before she gets
Fine. The triple threat is a mouth-watering grilled cheese and your choice of bread with two.
Oh, my bad. Though that sandwich is divine. Here, this part, quick.
Oh, don't worry. Now, you see, I won't be a coward like you were. Unlike some people I know, I have the decency to look a friend in the face before I take their last breath.
And welcome back to another episode of the Voice Podcast. My guest today is an actor. You may have seen him as Connor and Not Alone, Nathan Camber and Mantra, Brian Blanton in Quiet in My Town, Judd in The In-Between, John Winchester in The Winchesters, and many more. So welcome the legend himself. He's very gifted, in my opinion, talented, Mr. Drake Rodger. Welcome, Drake.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you on. And by the way, people at home, viewers, Drake's like the nicest guy you'll meet. I met him in person not too long ago.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, Drake, what have you been up to? How's Drake doing? How you doing, Drake?
Good, man. I've been good. Been able to sit back in LA for a while. So it's been first time in a year, really, that I've gotten to just relax and see friends, see family, spend a little bit of time with everybody. Yeah, so it's been good. It's been good. I had my mom and sister come out for the first time, so it was nice to show them around. So, yeah, man, it's been good. It's been good.
Are they back in Iowa? Because I think you're originally from Iowa. Are they back in?
Yeah. So after where we met in the Chicago Con, after that, I drove to see family down in Iowa, where I was born. And so I took a little train over, spent a little time there, and then I did a little puddle jumper flight back, which is like the little prop planes, which is the first time doing that. They don't really fit people who are above 6 foot. So lesson learned there. But no, it was a good experience. It was fun.
That's really cool. Like, so it's almost like a helicopter type of plane, or what kind of plane are you?
So instead of like engines, it's just props. So it's ours was a single prop plane, so it was on the front. But like where somebody has to run out front and spin it real quick to get it.
Oh my God!
It was a good time. It was definitely an experience. You feel everything in that plane.
And I always like to say, like, it's cool, like you hung out with your family. Like, I always like to say, like, family first. You know, that's where we came from. You know, that's what made us.
I totally agree. It's also it's nice as far as a good reminder of like you're saying, the things that are important. So I totally agree with you, Joe.
Thank you. So, if you're curious how I've been just grinding these interviews, getting more and more out there. Like, I've interviewed Jason Ritter recently, if you're familiar with his work.
Oh, cool. That's really cool.
And a bunch of other people, like, coming soon. So.
Oh, sick. That's awesome. I saw that you did Mark Pellegrino, right?
Yes.
Yes. How was that?
That was a lot of fun. He's actually one of my good buddies because, fellow Supernatural alumni. He's actually one of my good buddies. Believe it or not, like, almost every interview I put out, he likes to, like, share it out for me to be nice, to help me out.
Well, that's cool. Well, Mark, if you share this one, buddy.
That'd be cool.
I got to meet him in Jersey, so.
Really?
I was hoping if the Winchester had gone longer that we would have gotten a little Mark Pellegrino on the show. It would have been cool.
Lucifer action.
Little Lucifer action would have been really cool. Yeah. It's
really cool. Now, what made you want to become an actor? Who would you say is your biggest inspiration for acting?
Oh, good question. So I've moved 28 times in my life. So yeah, I've moved a lot. And one of those, mostly I lived in the Midwest. And one of those moves that I did took me down to Florida. And I was probably around 14, 15 years old. And it's normal. I think it's normal for people who are around 12 to 15 when you're kind of coming into who you are to fall into a little bit of a depressive state. But I hit it hard because I didn't have anybody around. I didn't have any friends or anything like that. So I fell into a pretty deep depression. and just wasn't in a good mental space. And because I didn't have friends or sports, which I was used to having, I turned to like TV for the first time ever, really. And I started watching TV shows, and I started watching Friends, The Office. I watched Teen Wolf was a really big one for me, Vampire Diaries, kind of all those shows. And I remember being really, really affected by what I was seeing, and I got to experience all of the things that I was lacking in my life, which was friendship, love, happiness, sadness, mourning, trauma, like all of it. I got to experience all of that through watching these characters go through it. And it helped pull me out of the reality of my life. I was able to escape to their reality. And I loved that. And it brought me a lot of joy and a lot of levity at a time where I didn't have a whole lot of that. And I think it was at that point that I decided if I was ever able to, like that's what I want to do. And if I could ever do anything in this medium that could change how someone views something, or not even change how they view it, just bring them joy in a time where they're not experiencing much of that. That's the goal, man. And so that's what I realized is that's what I wanted to do. And that's I started pursuing it professionally at 18, but I started working on it at 16. So yeah.
That's really cool. Like, did you have like any inspirations, like an actor you like to idolize?
Yeah, I actually, the one that when I was a kid, the one that really sprang me out there, and that my ex-girlfriend used to see like a lot of similarities in it, was Dylan O'Brien, who is on
Styles.
Yeah, and he was one that I remember watching and just being very, very impressed with who he is artistically. So I remember I mirrored a lot of his style. I also watched a ton of Jensen, a bunch of Jared, and I would, when I was watching Supernatural, I would copy what they do, and I would rehearse it. Like they would say, I'd watch an episode, and Dean would do a line, and I would pause it, and I would drop my voice, and I would do the same line. And honestly, it really helped for the Winchesters, because when I got the audition, I was like, I know exactly how these guys do these things. I know when at the end of my audition scene it says my name's John Winchester. Like I know how to like stand, and I know that like I need to position my body sideways, and I need to have like the power stance. And it's like I knew how to deliver it because I'd grown up mirroring what they do. So it really, really helped. It was a very full circle moment too. It's really cool.
You actually remind me of another actor from Teen Wolf, Tyler Hoechlin, Derek, in the show.
Oh, Derek, yeah. I got to meet him. It was briefly at the upfronts last year.
That's cool. You remind me of him too, like your acting. I can see that too.
Oh, thank you. I loved him in Teen Wolf. He was great. That's
really cool. Like and then you watch so many cool shows. Oh, like all those are classics too. Teen Wolf, Supernatural, Friends, The Office. Like wow, that's really cool.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And you're very gifted, in my opinion, talented. Like you, in my opinion, like you guys should check all his roles. Like I'll link down all your roles, like your IMDb. People should check out your roles. You're really good.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that, Joe.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Now, what is your favorite acting role you portrayed? Because you've done like all your roles. And then if you wouldn't mind, can you do like a John Winchester quote? Can you like say a quote by John?
What's my favorite role? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Wow, my favorite role has been John.
John?
Yeah, I've gotten to play him for a really long time. We did 7-8 months. So getting to do that was awesome. Getting to like live in a character's shoes for that long was cool. But just like I said, being a part of a universe that I was a fan of was really, really cool. So like getting to step on the stage every day, getting to see like this, getting to read our scripts, and they're just so supernatural. It was it was a blast. Yeah, I felt like I was walking in a dream. So that was definitely been my favorite character. As far as quotes from John Winchester, I need to find one because I get asked this a lot. But I'm gonna go with, just because I stole it from Dean, but the saving people hunting things is what I was born to do. That's my favorite quote. Yeah, like that. I remember saying that on the pilot and just being like, "I'm here, baby. I'm here. I did it." And that was one where I remember Jensen came up after that one, and he's like, "I wasn't sure if you could do it,
but you did it,
but you nailed it." And it was a good feeling. It was a really cool feeling.
That's really cool. Like it's so cool too. Like I like the concept of the Winchesters. It was really well done. Like well conceived. Like the origin story of the mom and dad of Sam and Dean. You know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's really cool. Now, can you walk me through the audition process? How did you land the iconic role of John?
Yeah, so I was actually I was catering an event in LA when I got the audition.
Sorry.
And I remember pulling it up, and I remember seeing that it was the Winchesters. I remember seeing it was a prequel to Supernatural, and I was just like, "Oh, this is a joke." I was like, "There, you know," because I was such a fan of the original show that I was like, "There's no way." You know, they've already tried one or two spinoffs, and I was like, "It's just like, let me see what they got." And I saw that Robbie was attached. I saw that Jensen was attached, so I had hope. And when I read the script, I really, really, really loved the direction they were going. I loved what they intended to set out to accomplish, and I was impressed. So I taped with one of my buddies in my house, and then got a call back. I got one call back, and then I did 27 chemistry reads.
That's all.
Yeah, 27 different chemistry reads, 9 sessions. Yeah, that was the most extensive process I've ever partaken in. Yeah, it was wild. It was crazy.
Now, were you and Meg then like hired first? I'm assuming of the cast, or like hired later on, like after?
No, actually, I think the order was as to when we signed. I think the order was Nida,
Okay.
Jojo, me, Meg. And I think that Meg and I didn't get signed first because it took so long for us to get through the chemistry reads. Because she read, I think her first read was on my 3rd, and then the one that got her booked was on my like 8th. So they brought her back to it again after like so many sessions. It's part of the industry. Is you know, so much of acting is just being the character, and you know, the truth is, at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of lines on paper, and anybody can do that. Or most any actor who's auditioning for these projects can act those characters. What you're looking for on the casting side of things is vibe, personality. Is Joe what I want for this character? Because the way that Joe and the way that Drake read this audition is going to be entirely different just based on who they are, you know? And that's what they're looking for in those chemistry reads. It wasn't that any one of those girls wasn't able to play Mary Winchester. It's just, is that the Mary Winchester that we want? And the same for John. Is that the John Winchester that we want? So it's a process, but it's definitely necessary.
Can't imagine a better duo than you and Meg. The dynamic duo.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really. And then favorite Winchester's character other than John.
Oh, favorite Winchester's character other than John. Well, I mean, my cheap answer is going to be Dean, just because I was a huge Dean fan. And so, yeah, like when I was reading the scripts and I realized how similar Mary was to Dean, I was like, damn it. But it makes sense. It makes sense for story too, because it made sense that Dean always wanted to be accepted by John because he was more similar to Mary. And it honestly, the meta part was seeing how much I was like Jared, and how much that to me influenced Jeffrey Dean's portrayal of why he didn't like Sam. Was I feel like he saw so much of himself in Sam. And that was the part where it was like, oh, this is the cool part about making a prequel, is we're giving context that was never existing to performances. And you know it works when it flows seamlessly into those, into those characters. And that was a really cool moment. But I'm gonna go with Dean. Dean was my favorite for sure.
Dean. Do you have a least favorite?
Oh no! First, I couldn't do that. I do think two of my other favorites. I can't remember their names offhand, but I'm sure you'll know. I thought the episodes with the ghost hunters were
yeah.
I love those. I don't know how the fandom treats those, but I thought those were fucking hilarious. So I don't know if I can cuss on this, but I apologize.
Go ahead. I've had a horror. I've had Jason Voorhees, from the horror movies. He swore on my show like 50 times. You're good, Drake. You're good.
I'll try to do 25. We'll cut it in half.
And look how many swear words are in Supernatural, so you're good.
That's true. That's really true.
Oh, now favorite Winchesters episode. Do you have a favorite Winchesters episode?
I do. My favorite episode probably was 6. It's the one where we're in the farm.
Mm-hmm.
I loved getting to play the villain. That was really, really cool. And I wish I had the opportunity to play multiple episodes as a villain. And in success, I would have wanted to have done that. But I just love the way that our director Geary shot it. It felt, to me, it felt the closest to like an OG Supernatural. Just the sense of, it was also our first and only pyre burn. So it was the first time that we buried a hunter, and it just felt like, oh, cool, we're doing the supernatural thing, but we're also giving again more context to like the ritual behind that stuff. It just felt like there were certain episodes of our show that I felt like were really, really, really servicing specific parts of supernatural. Like, let's give history and context to this thing that happened. Let's give history and context to the pyre that John was burned on. Like, let's give history to like what the ritual behind that would have looked like. And then in my mind, as we're doing this ritual, we're cleaning up this woman, I'm thinking like, oh, my 2 boys had to do the same thing to me. And like, we never got to see that. But how cool would that scene have been, to see them cleaning up the father. And so that was my favorite episode for sure.
So you basically wanted your own like villain arc, like your own arc, basically.
Yeah. I'm a huge, I am a massive fan, and if in my career I can always play them, I would love to. I like anti-heroes. I like people who do the right thing for their own reasons. So often it's blurry. And to me, John Winchester is an anti-hero. John Winchester did the right thing, but did a lot of the wrong thing. And he had there's a horse somewhere.
It's so random. Sorry.
It's so loud. John to me was like the perfect anti-hero of good intentions, really, really poor method of going about his intention. Yeah. Did
you ever meet Jeffrey Dean Morgan before?
I have on multiple occasions. It's been great. He's a fantastic actor, fantastic father, and fantastic human. Really, really is a beautiful human. So all around.
So you got to meet the future version of yourself, you're basically
basically staring in a mirror. Hey, I'll be that lucky, man. If I look like Jeffrey Dean, I did pretty well.
Awesome. That's really cool. Now, do you have any favorite behind the scenes moments while working on the show that no one really knows about? I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, there's most of the stuff that we did with the stunt team was a lot of fun. A lot of the times, Tom Welling, who played Samuel, him and I had just a really, really fun, like very bro-y relationship. But every time that we did scenes together, when the coverage was on the other person, or we would walk past each other and one of us wasn't facing the camera, we would always be whispering and talking shit to each other to try to get each other to break. And those were some of my favorite days, was getting to work with him. I love Tom Welling, and I miss him a lot. I've got to see him in a hot second. But any scene with him was great. Just farting in the van while everyone's in there is always awesome too. Honestly, there was so many bloopers that we had on set. We did in episode 2. We at the end of a scene, we sang 2.5 minutes of what's the song? Afternoon Delight.
Okay.
Yeah, we just worked that in because we had all just seen Anchorman, and for whatever reason we were like, this will be a fun idea, and we sang. It was at the end of a long day. We were over on hours, and none of us were thinking about like how this was going to be received. So we just started like a cappella singing Afternoon Delight, and just at the end, no one laughed. Everyone was ready to go home. No one laughed, and we all shrank. We like shriveled inside, and yeah, it was super embarrassing, but it was a great time.
You're like, why not?
Why not? Why
Yeah.
not do it? Yeah.
YOLO, you only live once.
Exactly.
Wow. Now, is there a certain type of role you love to portray? You said anti-hero, so some anti-heroes?
I love anti-heroes. I'd love to play and I think anti-hero and vigilante are somewhat synonymous. So like I would love, my dream role is to play Nightwing in like the DC universe.
Ooh, I could see that. Not gonna, I could see that.
I've wanted to play him for so long. In fact, I actually like 3 years ago I bought collie sticks, and I've been learning just how to use those just as like a little push forward. But fingers crossed that I'll at least have the opportunity to audition for it in James Gunn's universe. So be cool.
Oh, that's crazy. Did you see his pick up Steam, his Superman movie? Like they're almost casted Superman.
Yeah, I'm so pumped. He is an incredible visionary. I loved everything that he did at Marvel. I loved what he's done at DC in the previous Zack Snyder universe. His Suicide Squad was incredible. His mind really just is really brilliant, and he's super comic forward, which is very apparent to me. It's very apparent in his work, and it just does. He does a really great job at melding the comic fandom to the movie fandom. And I think that's a really hard needle to thread. And I think he does a fantastic job. That's why I really would love to work with him, is I just trust his vision. So it'd be a great job. It'd be a great time.
Well, if I ever interview him, hey, you could co-host, okay, Drake? I'll say, hey, Drake.
And I'll just ask him pure, like, hey, so who do we got in mind for a win? I'll just pitch myself the whole time.
You're hired. Imagine that. We'd be like, oh my God, let's go.
Just on our podcast, it'll be hype for sure.
That'd be cool. And now, do you have a favorite, like, top 3 Marvel people and top 3 DC people then? Since you like comics. I'm curious now.
Oh, man. I'm going to go with, like, the ones everyone knows. Nightwing is my favorite. Again, the reason I like Nightwing is the same reason Captain America is probably my favorite. Is I like superheroes that they really don't have any ability. They're not superheroes. They're literally just people, and their superpower is their will. And those are the things that I'm drawn to. Where I'm much less interested in how, somebody like Thor, a god who can't be killed, he stands up to these people. It's like it seems easier than someone who's just made of flesh, who like I could get hurt at any moment in these. I could die at any moment in these, but nonetheless, I'll still answer the same call that everybody else answers. I'm very drawn to that stuff. So I would have to say for DC, I'm going to go Nightwing, probably the Flash. And then comedically, I love Green Lantern, but my inner child is probably going to be Superman. I was obsessed with Superman as a kid. So, and then for Marvel, I'm going to probably go Captain America. This is going to sound dumb, but I also love Bucky. Winter Soldier is probably my favorite Marvel movie. And those are 2 of the same character, but I love those 2 characters. And then Rocket. Rocket's my other favorite.
Yeah. Wow.
Big red man.
Who do you explain? Okay, since you like Superman so much, who's going to play Superman? Because they have the 3 choices. Who do you think will portray?
Look, I think any of them could do a great job. And to what I was saying earlier, it just depends on what James Gunn's looking for. If I was to play a Superman, it would be an edgier Superman. And if that's not what he's looking for, then he's going to go pick up, someone who's going to play a lighter Superman. So I think whoever he chooses, any one of those 3 actors is going to do a fantastic job. They have great leadership, and they're not taking this project lightly. So it's going to be great.
Awesome. You see, I love the superheroes. I'm a big superhero guy too, so that's awesome.
How could you not?
Thank you. What is that? Milk or protein shake? I don't know if that.
Oh, it's straight milk. No, it's a protein shake. I'm doing this. I'm bulking up. We'll see how big I get, but it's disgusting, man. It's not a good time. I have to drink. I think I'm consuming like 225 grams of protein a day. It's not been fun. I walk around. I feel holy shit's right. I feel gross. But this is one of 5 of these I have, or 4 of these I have a day. So
you're fucking crazy. Sorry, Drake.
No, you're telling me.
So you're trying to get swole? I can't.
Yeah. I'm trying to make myself appealing for a superhero.
You're trying to get the Superman.
Exactly. I'll just show up whenever they're shooting. I'll show up on set. I'll wear my own homemade Superman outfit. I'm sure they'll love that.
And now, over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with co-stars and directors you work with? You still keep in touch?
Yeah, actually, Nida, Meg, and I all live in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And we all go to the same workout class almost every single morning.
Wow.
So, yeah, so I get to see them. I get to see them multiple times a week. It's really nice. It's cool to stay in touch. And then we stay in touch with JoJo. I was just in Italy with JoJo.
Oh, yeah, the JB.
Yeah, the Jib.
JBL.
Yeah, it's called Justin Bello. But it's a convention that Daniela, who's a wonderful, wonderful lady, she throws out in Rome. It's so much fun, but JoJo and I have had the pleasure of going the last 2 cons. So, yeah, I just spent a good, I don't know, week with JoJo out there. We just cruised Rome together. Drank more than we should, but it was a good time.
That's cool. You went to see. That's I'm Italian. That's my origins.
Oh, cool.
I wish I could go to Italy. That's really cool.
You got to make it out. You got to do it. You got to do it once at least.
That'd be cool. It's like a bucket list, then.
Go to the Jib. You'll see all the guys there. It'll be great.
Awesome. I don't know what your nationalities. I personally know what Drake, Rodger is. Sorry, Drake. I'm Italian and Polish and German and French Canadian.
I am I'm a big cluster. I have a lot of German, Irish, Scandinavian, Swedish, Italian. Something else that I'm forgetting. European. Like I'm very, I'm just literally like when I did the 23andMe thing and I just kept clicking in to find where I lived, and it was like the middle of nowhere, Europe, where my people come from. So I don't know how accurate that is or how they can trace that, but apparently my guys out there building houses in the middle of nowhere. So, I don't know. I can't argue it. So.
Yeah, see, on my mom's side, my mom Donna, she's French, Canadian, German, Polish, but my dad, he's just Italian. That's all. Italian. That's all he is.
Through and through. Some good food out there.
Yeah, like pizza, probably pasta, all that good stuff.
Yeah, they just have the strictest food laws out of any country, is what I was just told.
Really?
Like, yeah, like they weed out the most ingredients, or they have like the most stringent policies. I can't tell you exactly, but that's what I was just told when I was there.
Wow. Good to know when I go there then.
Yeah, you're good.
Wow. Now, this might be tough. Who's the coolest person that you've worked with?
Coolest person I've worked with. I'm trying to think. On this project alone.
It could be anything in either, too, if it helps.
Well, I didn't have the opportunity to work with Ruth directly, which was a bummer because I really, really wanted to. It was, look, I think any of the OG guys, but getting to work with Rob, getting to work with Billy, the band, Mike, Steve, it was awesome, man. They were a blast. They were really good team players. They all had wigs on, and that was a really, really fun day. Working with Spate, man. Ooh. I mean, I loved working with Spate, and that is a friendship that off of just 2 episodes together we garnered, and I cherish him so much. He is a genuinely that whole show, man. They just attract such good people. And it's really beautiful to be a part of that, and that they welcomed us into their world. But yeah, working with Spate was great.
It's like a big family, almost like.
Very, very much so. They treat it like that.
Like that. That's really cool. Now, what director taught you the most? Is there one you would love to work with? Yeah, maybe James Gunn. That could be one you.
I'd love to work with James Gunn, of course. My favorite directors are probably Christopher Nolan is as my childhood, like that's my favorite. I'm pumped for Oppenheimer. Anything that he touches is gold. Same with, and I'm not going to pronounce this right, and I never do it. Villanueva, the director of Dune. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, you said it right. You said it right. You did say it right.
Sicario, everything he touches is gorgeous. His shots are just beautiful, and so those are the 2 that I would love to work with, 3 including Gunn. But truthfully, like everyone, Tarantino, I learned so much from all the directors. I like to be very involved not involved. I like to be around. I like to see why are we using this lens? at this distance. Like I was annoying there's a bit that we have on set where every single setup, my co-stars would do this to make fun of me, but they would all just go, because I would always look over at the camera and I would just go like, I would want to know like, where's the shot? Where are we at? And it's like, oh, cool, we're close here. And then my cameraman, Marcise Cole, who is phenomenal and has worked on every project I've ever loved. He, as a DP, or I'm sorry, as a camera operator, him and the B cam op, Tony, they would always ask me like this close. And they're like, we're like 26 feet. What are we on? Like, what lens are we on? And then I would have to remember like, okay, cool. Well, like 26 feet away from, this close is going to be like a 185, And so that's how I would like learn. And then I would ask them, well, why? Why are we doing a 185 from 26 feet versus moving close and doing like a 35 or a 40 or a 50 from, 8 feet away? And yeah, you learn so much about focal depth. You learn so much about like when they choose to shoot over someone's shoulder versus when they choose to shoot over your side versus when they choose to shoot just clean. And every one of those choices is thought through. It's not just like happening. It's all to try to convey something to the audience. And I love that aspect of filmmaking. I love when everything feels intentional. I love when the wardrobe people were like, we want you to be in this color for this scene because this color conveys this to an audience. It's like when every aspect works together, it's a symphony, right? And if part of your orchestra is not operating in tune with everything else or being creative in its capacity, it's going to sound off, or it's not going to sound as good as it could. And I love when a symphony and an orchestra just sounds beautiful. Everyone's firing on all cylinders and everybody understands the job. So yeah, I learned so much. Every director who came on was so kind. I was able to watch, see their style, what I liked, what I didn't. And yeah, it was a beautiful time. It was a great time.
Would you want to work with aspiring director Joe Zito?
What is Joe Zito? Oh yeah, of course. What's Joe Zito done? Yeah, I would love to work with Joe Zito. Come on.
Because believe it or not, that's what I want to do as a career. That's why I want to become a screenwriter director.
Oh, cool, man. Then do it, dude. It literally, anybody can do it. And that's the truth, is if you have a camera, look, Christopher Nolan made a feature film for $6,000.
Yeah.
It's his first thing he ever did. It's like anybody can do it. And the truth is, the one thing everybody unanimously loves in this industry, and forgive my speech, is dope shit. Everybody loves dope shit. If you have a dope idea, everyone's gonna hop on board. If you're a dope director, if you have the hustle, if you have the drive, if you have like, oh my God, Joe Zito's like, he's hustling, he's making it happen for himself. His shit's good. They're gonna want to work with you. That's the industry. It's about money. It's about art. It all comes together. And it's like, if you can just provide those things, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're at. Like, find it. Start making short films. That stuff it's so attainable. But the reason that it feels so unattainable is most people aren't willing to do what it takes. They're not willing to put themselves out there like that. They're waiting for that one, like, well, let me wait for someone to offer me a job. It's like, no, man, you got to go out and find it. You got to find it.
That'd be cool if I worked with a legend here, Drake. That'd be really cool.
Hey, yeah, maybe we'll direct whenever the boys end up doing another season of Supernatural. Maybe we'll direct something out there.
That'd be cool. That'd be sick. Now, if you didn't go into acting, what do you think your career would have been? And what other hobbies and interests do you have besides acting?
Now, I would have wanted to be like a director.
Director?
Yeah, and a writer director. I love writing. I'm writing something now. I write with directing in mind. Like I write with a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I love doing that. I'm excited to experience more and really like flesh out what directing is, what it is for me. But before I was an actor, I really wanted to join the military. Yeah, up until I was 17, when I made the decision on which one I was going to like pursue, it was really neck and neck. My entire life, I wanted to be a part of the U.S. military. So, thank God I didn't, and I'm happy to be where I am. And I would love to. I would love to portray. I would love to do a military movie. I'd love that. Would feel like a massive honor to me to be able to tell those stories. Just because I didn't get to be there, and I have nothing but respect for people who are. So
Yeah.
I would love to tell those stories. And there's
In my
plenty of people.
In my opinion, the troops deserve a lot of money because they risk their lives every day. Risk their lives every day. I can't talk.
It is a beautifully at the pinnacle, the base of it all. It's one of the most honorable things I think you can do, and that's just my own personal take. Is willing to sacrifice a lot for people that you don't know, and that's really beautiful. It really is.
Thank you, Drake. I like when you see the hot people. Thank you. That touched me. I'm sorry. That was like awesome. So
Thanks.
Do you have any hobbies besides writing and?
Yeah, everything outdoors. I love hiking. I love going to the beach. I like climbing shit. I like to run around, jump on buildings. I see stuff all the time. I see a building and I just like in my head, I'm like, I got to get to the top of that thing. And
So you like a parkour guy?
I wouldn't say parkour. Those guys look cool when they do it. I just look like a little monkey trying to climb the side of a building, but I'm failing. But I love anything outdoors. I love driving. Driving is like one of my favorite things to do. So a lot of times I'll like invite a friend over and we just go for a drive for like 4 hours and just talk, listen to music. Well, let's see what else. I love movies. Go to the movie theater all the time. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. So you hike, drive. That's a lot. That's cool. Like you're like very active.
Oh, thank you. I love my community, man. I think it's the most important thing. Like I said, I never had one growing up because I moved so much. And now I have a beautiful community out here in LA. And that is, so what we were saying at the beginning of this conversation, not looping it back, but looping it back is family. But to me, what family is community. And I have a lot of people out here that are my family, not by blood, but just truly by who they are and what they mean to me. So yeah, anything that I can do with them, I was just hanging out with like 6 of them last night. We just watched the movie together, and it was a great time. And that's what I live for. That's what I do this for, is community. So yeah, that's what
It's really cool. Now, favorite band or artist and type of music?
Oh man.
What's Drake on his playlist?
Well, on my playlist right now, I'm getting so deep into 70s soul.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I am loving. There's a song I listen to it all the time by Al Green called "How Can You Mend a Broken Heart."
Okay.
I love it so much. His voice is gorgeous.
That's your jam.
Yeah, I'll just stick with that. I've been into 70s soul for a little bit now. But always Metallica, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses. Big my parents were like metalheads in the 70s and 80s, so
I like that. See, I love the 80s. That's like my genre.
80s, great year. The problem is 80s soul gets into more like the like techno, like, and it's like I prefer more just the instrumental side of things. But the 80s rock and roll is great.
That's really cool. Like you like in my opinion, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but like the music today doesn't compare to back in the day. You know what I mean, Drake? Like back in the 70s, 80s, it doesn't compare to nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to compare. I mean, the problem is everything is always moving. Everything's always evolving. It's always changing. And so I think music now is just as creative. It's not. I can't speak to it. I don't do it. But it a lot of times the thing that feels lacking for me is the human aspect of it. But that's personal preference. And I think what comes out today is still beautiful. It's still gorgeous. It still takes an incredible amount of talent. And I feel like the field is so much more saturated now that it's incredibly hard to make a distinguished voice. So the people that do, I have nothing but respect for.
Well, a lot of opinion. That's really good. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, since you mentioned movies, favorite movies and TV shows?
Oh man, my favorite movie ever is Warrior, or The Warrior. I think it's just Warrior. It's Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton. I can never remember the dad's name. Really,
I click out for you really quick. The
his
Warrior.
name is C in it. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's my favorite movie ever. It's about two brothers, MMA fighters, and it's an incredible story. But yeah, that one, favorite TV show, True Detective season 1. It's incredible. I think it's some of the best TV ever if you haven't seen it. Best acting on television. Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones. Breaking Bad. It's great. My sister and I religiously watched Vampire Diaries for a long time, so I'm gonna go with there. Gotta throw them in there. Nita and I actually bonded over. She's a huge Vampire Diaries fan. So, yeah. Which if you haven't, you should hit her up. I'm sure she'd love to do an interview.
That'd be cool.
For contact info, but if you somehow get it, I'm sure she'd be down.
That'd be cool. I looked up Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte, yeah, Nick Nolte, incredible. Should have won an Oscar, but he didn't. Fantastic performance. Yeah, that movie is genuinely like one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Oh, and then Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Was it? I only saw clips. Is it really that good? People.
It is. That movie is, I think, just life changing for me. And it hits movie art hits people differently. For me, it was just the most beautiful depiction of what it is to love somebody that I've ever seen. And I thought it was perfect. I thought it was brilliantly acted, brilliantly directed and written, and the composing, the music. That to what we were saying earlier, that is a symphony, an orchestra that everybody was on the same page and everybody was operating at the top of their ability. It's a fantastic movie. Yeah.
So is that my homework? Is that my homework tonight? Watch that movie.
Watch that movie. Watch it on the best TV and best sound you can find, wherever that is. Like, get a subwoofer. I don't care. Mount it in the back of your thing and just watch that movie. The best you can feel the experience. That's how I would recommend it. That's
sick. And then didn't that guy win like best actor or like best like Ki Kwan? Did he like
they swept. Everyone swept. Yeah. They won. I think almost every. They won best actress, best supporting actor, and then best picture. I think they won best music. I'm not sure. I know they swept. They won like Oscars. So it's a fantastic movie.
Okay. I got my homework from Mr. Rodger.
Definitely.
Now, favorite sports and favorite team. I know when I met you, you had an Angels hat on, but are you I'm assuming an Angels fan?
I'm not. I'm a big fan of hats. So I wear hats a lot of times that I have. I didn't even know it was an Angels hat when I put it on. I saw it was red. Man, my favorite sports team. I followed a lot of Tom Brady. Not gonna lie, I know that's divisive, but I think Tom Brady's a GOAT for sure. Moving so much, it was hard for me because I never developed roots somewhere.
So you have like a hometown team.
Yeah, I never had like the hometown team that you root for and that you go for. So I don't know, man. For me, I'm a big lover of sports. My favorite sport is MMA. So I love the fighters in MMA. I have my favorites. But that's what I bond with Jared on a lot. Jared's a huge MMA guy. So
who's some of your favorite? You said sorry to stop drinking for fighters.
No, don't apologize for drinking. My favorite fighters would be McGregor, Poirier, Jones. Michael Chandler's great. Justin Gaethje, they're all great fighters. The middleweight class is phenomenal, or light middleweight class is incredible. I'm just a huge fan, man. That sport is just one of those things where it's like, it's just cool to see two people go up and give everything that they have. It's a really, really beautiful thing.
Did you ever see like an MMA match before? Did you ever go?
I think I'm actually going to one of these next ones. We'll see if it works out scheduling wise, but I'm hoping that I can go to one of the next couple. So we'll see. I'm trying to tag along with Jared to one of these because I think he goes to almost all of them. So
really? Wow.
I just know he's a huge fan. So
wow, that's sick. I love sports. I'm a big sports guy. Like I love hockey and football. Believe it or not, it's my sports. I watch.
I haven't watched much hockey, but football I'm into.
Who's your favorite besides Brady? Do you have any favorite players besides Brady?
I mean, retired is pretty much all I know. Manning was a favorite. I did a lot of fantasy football last year. I'll probably do it again this year because it helped me stay in touch because I don't really watch too much. I didn't have a ton of free time last football season, so maybe this year I'll get more into it. But honestly, I like rooting for the underdogs. Joe Burrow, Cincinnati.
Joe Burrow. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm hoping he can pull something out. But yeah, getting just the Super Bowl last year was great. The Bills, I was a big Bills fan. I had a lot of their players. I had Josh Allen on my team, so
He's the new Madden guy. I don't know if you knew that. He's like the new. I don't know if you play video games. He's the
cool. Good for him, man. Good for him. Deserves it.
Now, what is your favorite food?
Hands down, pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah,
Pizza.
hands down. Pizza, sushi, and then, yeah, it's got to be pizza and sushi.
Do you have a food you don't like? Like you don't go to, you hate this food?
No, not really. I'm not a huge shellfish fan. Jensen got me into oysters, which I was never a big fan of. But the way he like, I don't know, you call it decorates it, with the lime and the whatever sauce.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, but it's never something that I would order.
So don't give me shellfish next time you come to Chicago.
You put a plate full of shellfish, I'm swiping that out of the way. Get that off the table.
Did you guys end up trying the pizza out here since you were in Chicago for that?
I did, yeah. Actually, I went to Giordanos, got a nice deep dish. It took about 3 hours to cook, but it was a good time. It was a good time.
That's awesome. Now, are there any projects you in the works? Anything coming up for Drake in the works?
Yeah, there's some stuff in the works. You never know. We're in the middle of a strike right now, so stuff could fall through at any moment. But pending that it doesn't, hopefully I'll have some stuff to announce here in a little bit. Could be cool. If not, still in the lurk. It's cool. I'm happy to have a little bit of downtime though. It's been nice. Like I said, it's been cool to see family.
Are you getting bulk for a role? Is it maybe? Or... Okay. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. So, what advice would you give younger people who want to become an actor? What's your advice?
My genuine advice is ask yourself why you want to do it. Because if your why is that you want money or you want to be famous or you just want to be on TV, best of luck. It is not that for a lot of people. Fame is such a hard thing. It's such a wild card. You never know if it's going to, you could be acting for 12, 20, 30 years and never be famous, but you could be a working actor and everyone, nobody will ever recognize you. So if that's what it is, it's going to be a very unfulfilling career for you. So I would say really genuinely search and ask yourself why it is you want to be an actor. And once you have that why, and if that why is something selfless, hold on to it, is my advice. Hold on to your why. Because this industry, in so many different ways, in ways that you would never expect it to, will break you down. And it's something that you have to go through. Everybody does, but if you don't have a why and you don't hold on to it, you lose sight of why you're doing it. And you lose sight of why you want it. And I keep using the word why because that's what I'm saying. It's important. It's important to hold that why. So find that, hold on to it, and then be honest with yourself. Because trust me, everybody else is going to be brutally honest with how they feel about you. So make sure that the person that's most honest with you is you.
I always like to stay humble. Remember where you came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, obviously, humility is important. And yeah, just again, I can't emphasize enough. Just know why you're doing it and why you want it. Would be my primary piece of advice.
Now, would you be willing in the future to come back on for a part 2, answer some fan questions?
Of course, man. Absolutely.
That'd be cool. Because imagine someone says, "Oh, I got a question for Drake." So and so asked their username and then the question.
Yeah, of course, dude. I would love to come back. It's been a great time.
Thank you. Now, what is one thing you like to tell the Winchester fans at home? Thank you for. being there.
Yeah. Oh my God. I to all the Winchesters fans, thank you guys so much for supporting us. We had a blast filming. You guys allowed us to literally just play for 9 months. To get paid to live in New Orleans was an incredible experience. The opportunities that we had out there, the things that we got to see, the things we got to do, are all entirely thanks to you guys. So thank you all for that. And thank you for your just continual support and wishes and love. I mean, y'all are just so sweet. It's like an outpour of love every time that we go to these conventions, every time we open up Twitter or Instagram. It's a lot of love, and it's very, very, very much so seen and felt. And yeah, we just appreciate that. So thank you guys.
I like that. Now, before I ask you my last question, do you have any questions, Drake? Do you have any?
Man, what is life? You know,
What is life?
what is life? So go for it. Tell me, what is life?
Spreading happiness to others.
Beautiful. That's it. Perfect. Spreading happiness to others. Let's go with that.
Because that's actually my message. Like why I started these interviews. Because I started them in 2020 during the pandemic. Because people were down and depressed. I love making people happy, helping spread positive vibes.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
That's what my message in life is. Make people happy, put a smile on their face. I hope I'm making you happy, Drake. Hope this interview.
You are. This has been a really, really wonderful interview. So thank you.
Drake, is there anything you would like to promote and shout out for the viewers to check out?
Just happiness, man. Let's stick
Happiness?
with happiness. Yeah. Peace, love, and joy. But yeah, I think love your neighbor, man. Really, really, really. Like we're in a beautiful, beautiful place wherever you live. Just keep spreading love to people, and it will return itself tenfold. That's all I want to say. Promote. So.
I like that. Would you like me to link down your? Would you want me to link down your social medias so people can follow you? Help you
Yeah,
out?
go ahead and link it. Yeah, of course.
Your Instagram, your Twitter. I don't know if you have any other social medias besides Instagram.
That's it. I barely know how to use Twitter, so we go ahead and link it, but I don't know. So I'm like an infant on that.
I get that. No, thank you again so much, Drake, for being an awesome, amazing guest. I had a fun time chatting with you. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome. And you stay awesome, Drake.
Thank you.